Joining us for this week's Chalk Talk, sponsored by the Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, are two coaches out on the west side of Michigan. Caledonia head coach Todd Bloemers and the head coach at Holland, West Ottawa, Paul Chapman. Thank you both for joining us here on Hang Time.
Pleasure.
Hello to the both of you. I want to start with Coach Chapman. You had a bit of a health scare recently. You were admitted to the hospital. I understand that all is well, though. But can you walk us through what happened, and did you have to take any time off?
All right, I'll break it down for you. We were at Caledonia for a boys and girls basketball doubleheader. Boys are going to start about 6, and I had a little headache before that, sitting up in the stands. So I took 2 ibuprofen. And I thought to myself, well, you better not take that on an empty stomach. So I went and got a hot dog and a Diet Coke at the Cali concession stand. And after I sat back down just prior to the start of the game, my hands started itching and my feet started itching. I thought I was like had hives or something like that. So I actually went back in the locker room and looked around, looked at my arms and over under my shirt to see if I was breaking out in any way. And I thought, man, I can't coach like this. I'll be scratching the whole time out there. And this again is prior to the hour and a half before the girls' game was supposed to start. So I went over to the Caledonia trainer and asked her if she had any Benadryl. And she didn't have that, of course. And she was going to give me instructions about how to get to the Cali drugstore to get some. And about that time, the National Anthem started, and I stood up, got a little bit dizzy, and my vision got kind of a little bit darkened, and I started kind of setting back down. And then I guess at that time, I don't remember because I passed out at that point. And they were on me to help right away. The nurse, there was actually a nurse there from Caledonia named Sarah Simon that I remember her first. I knew her from Holland when I coached at Holland as Sarah Rymick. But, she checked with me right away. She said that I was probably out for about maybe 30 seconds. And she tapped me on the arm, said, "Hey, chap, wake up." And I was awake there. Said I never lost my pulse. Never had any heart concern, although I did express that at one point I just drank that Diet Coke, so I felt like I had to burp. And since I pressed and kept pushing here, that's an indicator, indigestion, that you could be having a heart attack. So out of a precaution, they hooked me up to an AED to just monitor my symptoms, or see how things were going with my pulse rate and all that kind of stuff. And so at that point, I know people got really concerned because, okay, you got an old guy laying on the floor and he hooked up to an AED. And of course, people in the stands could somewhat see what was going on, but ends up being, to make a long story short, I did get the guy from the Caledonia Fire Department hit me with an EpiPen in the thigh, which helped the symptoms as far as the allergy, because it ends up being, through my doctor physician, that most likely I'm allergic to ibuprofen. And wow. I know I've been taking that all my life. And he just said that at some point in time, your body says, "Hey, I don't want that anymore." So I was not in a heart situation. I never got shocked. I didn't have any heart attack type symptoms other than I had a little indigestion a little bit because I drank that Diet Coke. But the people at Cali were, they were concerned. They were on the case right away. I did end up going to a hospital. I never got admitted and stayed overnight or anything like that. They just basically checked me out, and the doctor at that place at Mercy also said that he thought it was probably an allergic reaction to probably the ibuprofen or the hot dog, and it ended up being more likely it's the ibuprofen that did it.
Wow. So no more ibuprofen as of
no ibuprofen. Yep. Good. No ibuprofen.
Good, Coach. Coach Bloemers, also our partnership with BCAM this season is primarily to focus on the one-team program and the effort to promote unity among the high school basketball landscape this season. Your team was competing against West Ottawa that night, and your entire team went to comfort the West Ottawa team in their locker room. Can you talk about that and what it meant to everyone involved?
Yeah. So when Coach was going through his medical emergency, we wanted to, make sure that we were taking care of the players. And I actually brought my girls back to the locker room once we knew that all was stable. And we're talking about just, how to change for whether or not we were going to play this game. And just having some conversations, saying some prayers, making sure that we were doing everything that we could to take care of our kids and make sure that he was okay. And that conversation, our team captains, Brinley Berry and Tori Woodwick, and really the rest of the team said, Coach, we just really want to go see the kids, see the players from West Ottawa, and we'd like to just go make sure that they're okay, because we talked a little bit about, if the table returned, how would they feel if, I was in that situation. They expressed some concerns about how they would be feeling if they were in that same situation. And so I went and asked Michelle, the JV coach for West Ottawa, if it'd be okay if our girls went in the locker room. And really the rest is it. It was the kids, taking the initiative. We've really done a lot with leadership training with our girls to try and make positive change in our school. That's been one of the things that we've been trying to do. And I was really proud that they, obviously just there was a lot unknown at that point. So they were concerned about West Ottawa's players, concerned about Coach Chapman, and I was just proud of the way that they showed empathy for the situation, and the way that basketball became really smart of what's going to happen that night.
Yeah, that's amazing. Coach Chapman, did you know that the Caledonia girls team did that? And if so, what did that mean to you and the team?
Well, obviously at the time I didn't know, because I was probably either on the floor or on the way in the rescue vehicle to Mercy. I found out afterwards what had gone on. I didn't know the game was actually postponed myself at that time. But no, I just thought it was a very thoughtful process. I know the girl he mentioned, Brinley Berry. She's an MHSA student rep, so she's probably really versed in leadership, and it meant a lot to our girls just that someone came alongside them. I know there were a lot of different concerns and rumors and things like that kids go through a lot of emotions during that time, and it was just it was a great supportive gesture by the Cal people and the Cal team.
For anyone listening, we're talking with the two head coaches today on Hang Time, Todd Bloemers of Caledonia and Paul Chapman of Holland, West Ottawa. Let's now get into some X's and O, guys. Get into your teams and the journeys they've taken this season. Coach Chapman, your team is 10-4, a couple of really tough losses as you lost to Caledonia in OT, and then a 1-point defeat to East Kentwood. At the time of this recording, you're preparing for a second match with Grand Haven, a team that you beat on the road about a month ago. After such a great start, you faced some of that adversity. How is the team holding up as you prepare for this next stretch?
Well, you're right. We hit a little adversity. We did start out 10-0, and since I passed out, we haven't won yet. So 2 games were courtesy of the top teams in our league, Rockford and Hudsonville. They're just, as Todd will tell you, they're just lights out teams. And then Cal beat us in the makeup game, obviously a very close game in overtime. And we dropped another one to East Kentwood last Friday also. So we're battling. We're trying to battle back. We know our season's not over. We've had a great start, but these 1 or 2 weeks don't define us either. We've got a lot to go with. We've got senior night tonight against Grand Haven, and we're looking forward. We talked about that the other day, that we want this to be like kind of the defining moment where we say, hey, remember when we had that rough spot during the season? We turned it back around at senior night playing against Grand Haven, and we're just trying to get things going again in the right direction. But the kids have been great. They've been working hard. These things are gonna happen in life and in sports. These things happen. You have setbacks, and you just got to bounce back and battle back and control what you can control.
Absolutely.
Coach Bloemers, it's been an up and down kind of season for you, 5-9 on the season in a very tough OK Red conference, but you have won 2 of the last 4 games, and you've got Jenison coming up for you. How do you feel the team is coming together at this point in the season?
Yeah, I think I'd echo a few things that Paul said. Our league there's fantastic basketball, and you need to be prepared to play every single night. I've been really proud of our players for the perspective that they've been able to keep this season despite those ups and downs. We've been talking a lot about how embracing the tough parts. It has to be part of the fun of playing. sport and playing the game of basketball, because if you can only be up during those times when things are going well, it's going to be pretty tough. And so I've been proud of our kids for trying to find a way through, battling through some difficult situations. And obviously, got a couple of wins recently, and hoping that can build some momentum here as we have Jenison tonight, who's a team that we went through a really bad third quarter against in our first matchup. And we lost a close game by a few points at Grand Haven the first time around too. So those are our two opponents this week, and we're just looking to control what we can control. Compete as hard as we can, stick together as a team, and keep trying to make progress. It's about improvement.
Absolutely. And Coach Bloemers, Coach Chapman, I wanted to introduce to you guys a segment that we do on our Hang Time show. It's called Lexi's Little Hot Topic. So each week I bring up something that might be a little controversial or something that I have an opinion on. Give mine, but, I want to hear your guys' opinions on a couple of them as well. I would say probably the most controversial that gets the most negativity is I brought up lowering the women's rims. Have you guys ever heard of that proposal, or what do you think about it?
Well,
I've never heard of it myself, except in young kids basketball. The only time I've heard of that.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Just when you're trying to teach young kids how to shoot with proper mechanics, that's about the only time I think that would be an advantageous situation.
Have you, the idea around it is, of course, I have to say it, so that ladies can get dunking out there like some of the guys. Do you think that would be a benefit to the game or unnecessary at this point?
I think it'd be a benefit to the game if girls were dunking all over the place, but we're going to try and do it through our speed and strength program.
Okay, I like that answer.
I like it.
Coach Chapman, I'll start with you on this one. Today I talked about, I always say don't be robots, be basketball players. That's something one of my high school coaches would always preach to us. So that just kind of means deviating from the play. You always look at the hoop to score first. Do you guys kind of preach that similar thing in practice, Coach Chapman?
Yeah, we obviously run some set type actions and plays, but you've always got to be able to read the floor, read the situation, read how your opponent's playing you, and take advantage of that. Yeah, we encourage kids, try to give them some freedom to hopefully make the right decisions and make some good plays.
Coach Bloemers, what about you? Is it a good shot, even if it wasn't meant for them, as long as they make it?
Well, yeah, and I agree with Paul too. You have your set actions and things that you want your kids to be able to do, but we're really trying to get our kids to play with an imagination, because you become pretty, predictable and easy to scout if you don't have an imagination out there on the floor. So trying to be creative and improvise sometimes when things break down is a necessary skill for these kids to acquire. So absolutely.
Great, we agree on that one.
Coach Bloemers and Coach Chapman, thanks again for all you do for basketball. We're so glad to hear that everything is okay for you, Coach Chapman. Good luck to both teams the rest of the season.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
luck tonight, Paul.